This is the fourth part of this series. In this tutorial, we shall try to derive the supply curve of labor. There is no straight way to derive it. We have to deduce it from the wage offer curve. So, we shall start with the derivation of the wage offer curve. In figure A, the wage line is A1B. A laborer is in equilibrium at E1, where indifference curve IC1 is tangent to the wage line A1B. He prefers to work for FB hours. The wage rate increases. The wage line A1B rotates around B and becomes A2B. On this new wage line, the laborer is in equilibrium at E2, where indifference curve IC2 is tangent to the wage line A2B. The laborer is willing to work for BH hours. In this way, the other three wage lines A3B, A4B and A5B are formed after an increase in the wage rate. The equilibriums respectively are E3, E4 and E5, and corresponding to these points, the laborer is willing to work for BL, BK and BG hours. By joining the points E1, E2, E3, E4 and E5 with a smooth line, we obtain the wage offer curve. Each point on the wage offer curve shows different wage rates and the hours of work that a worker is willing to offer at that wage rate. In the wage offer curve, information about hours of work is directly given, but market wage rate is not directly given. Wage rate is indirectly given. The slope of the wage line is the market wage rate. Thus, from the wage offer curve, we shall derive the supply curve of labor. In figure B, we measure wage rate along the y-axis and hours of work along the x-axis. Take the initial equilibrium E1 along the wage line A1B. At equilibrium, the worker offers to work for BF hours, shortly F hours. The market wage rate is OA1 by OB, W1. It means at W1 wage, the worker supplies F hours of work. Let us plot this point and name it as M in figure B. At equilibrium E2, the wage rate is OA2 by OB, W2. The laborer supplies BH hours, that is H hours of work. HW2 is another point on the supply curve of labor. Let us plot it in figure B as point N. At equilibrium E3, the wage rate is OA3 by OB, W3, and the laborer supplies BL hours, that is L hours of work. LW3 is another point on the supply curve of labor. Let us plot it in figure B as point B. At equilibrium E4, the wage rate is OA4 by OB, W4, and the laborer supplies BK hours, that is K hours of work. KW4 is another point on the supply curve of labor. Let us plot it in figure B as point Q. At equilibrium E5, the wage rate is OA5 by OB, W5, and the laborer supplies BG hours, that is G hours of work. GW5 is another point on the supply curve of labor. Let us plot it in figure B as point R. By joining the points M, N, P, Q and R, we get the supply curve of labor. It is bending backward. Up to the wage rate W3, the curve is sloping upwards because the positive substitution effect is stronger than the negative income effect. The laborer substitutes income in the place of leisure. Beyond W3, the supply curve of labor is sloping up backward. This is because the negative income effect is stronger than the positive substitution effect. The laborer substitutes leisure in the place of income. Thus, the backward bending supply curve of labor is obtained. This series on supply curve of labor ends here. We shall meet again.